Little 3-year-old girl is carrying around this just giant jar. She's going down, filling this whole thing up with water.
They're illiterate, even though he meant they didn't know the book. He took the Annunciation to Abraham. This is how, now I can see why he could misread it this way, because again, he's following Muhammad. He assumed that when the report came to Abraham, Milcah has also borne children to your brother Nahor, that she bore children then. No.
Once again, beloved, I greet you and I welcome you to u.s.a Media. My name is Boache Stephen, and you know for sure that whenever I get in my seat here, it's about we dismantling those several assertions that have been made against Christianity since time immemorial. Actually, Muslims raise many arguments, okay, the level arguments against Christians. I'll be getting with me. And sometimes when they want to run away from the reality, they try themselves their possible best to also get or find some faults on Christianity so as to silence us from actually pinpointing the errors in their religion, most especially the error their prophet committed by marrying a 6-year-old girl, okay, and consummated the marriage with her at age 9. I'll be getting to me. Muslims assert that Rebekkah was even younger than Aisha. Rebekkah was 3 years when Isaac got married to her. This is something else. I think you are laughing even if you are the casual Bible student. You know Rebekkah wasn't 3 years when she got married to and with Isaac. Quick break and we are returning. You're welcome back, beloved. Quickly, shall we go to David Wood? David Wood, what do you say about this?
And this, so let me get this straight. This
okay, and what next?
Little 3-year-old girl is carrying around this just giant.
Yeah, it's amazing. You see, it's amazing. There is a 3-year-old girl carrying the giant jar, fetching water and blah blah. Oh, it isn't true. Okay, it isn't true. We don't know how Muslims study the Quran. What is it? The Bible. Well, what next?
Jar. She's going down, filling this whole thing up with water.
It's amazing. What next?
Enough to go and water a bunch of camels. And she's 3.
You see, a 3-year-old girl being able to do all this, it really means Muslims are trying to run away from something. They just don't want to study the Bible. You get that? So they want to create or bring about what is termed as Tukokwi argument or Tukokwi fallacy. So Shamoun also has something to say about this. What do you say?
But let me explain again. This confirms what CP said.
Okay, so keep on with the explanation.
They're illiterate, even though he meant they didn't know the book. He took the Annunciation to Abraham. This is how, now I can see why he could misread it this way, because again, he's following Muhammad.
Okay, yes. What next?
He assumed that when the report came to Abraham, Milcah has also borne children to your brother Nahor, that she bore children then. No.
Yes. True. There wasn't any internet or something like that. Yes, and surely after all these events, someone met up with Abraham and fed him with the information that Nahor had children from with Milcah, and Rebekkah too had been born. So the logic Muslims are trying to display over here has to do with the idea that the fact that Abraham had an information that several people had been born and Rebekkah too had been born really mean that instantly it was instantaneous, or instantly Rebekkah had been born just at the time Isaac was about to be killed as a sacrifice for God. You see, this logic is something else. It's very weak. You get that? It's very weak. It really means Muslims are not reason at all. So what next, Shamoun?
There was no internet. There was no email. There was no rapid transportation.
Yes, very true. That's exactly what the text is saying. Okay, David Wood, what do you say?
The text is simply saying that word got to him at that time that now that Milcah had given birth.
Okay, that's very nice. What next?
Notice, so no, they're in a completely different part of the world.
Yes, they are in completely different world. Yes, his family members. There was no email or social, Facebook or Twitter, Instagram or whatever. Okay, there weren't any mobile phone for them to have communicated or contacted Abraham to tell him this was going on in the home or something like that. So someone had to travel, and if you come across the person, then the person gives you the information that is in the home or the news from the house. Okay, what next, David Wood?
Right? His family members. There is no email.
Yes, exactly my point. The only time you will get information or news or something is probably if a traveler eventually shows up and bothers to tell you the news from back home. Okay, that's nice. And yes, there wasn't the advancement we have in today. What next?
The only time you'll get notification of something is if a traveler eventually shows up and bothers to tell you the news from back home.
Okay, so exactly that's what the traveler told Abraham. Okay, that is, I think if you read Genesis 22, verse number 20, after the event that took place in Mount Moriah, okay, when Abraham was to sacrifice Isaac. And God stopped him and gave him a lamb to be used, okay, instead of or to be used in place or to be killed in place of Isaac. I'll be get to me later in the verses. Actually, Abraham was met up with a traveler, and he bothered to feed Abraham with news back home. And surely he told him many people had been born, and Nahor had gotten some children and all that with Milcah, and Rebekkah too had been born. So Muslims tries to say that just that the Bible says Rebekkah had been born really mean that it was instant. You get that? It was instant. So this is somewhat like my uncle has traveled to a place for about 20 years. Okay, and someone he met up with one of our relatives in the place where he's found himself, and the person bothered to give him or feed him with news back home, and was like, oh yes, your sister Doris Kwakon and Ajobroni has been given birth. Okay, and also a girl has been born. A girl has been born in the family. So does this really mean that it is instantaneous? The time that this reporter or this traveler is telling my uncle about the news back home is the exact time this girl has been born or these people has been born? No. That is weak logic, okay? That is weak argument. Well, David Wood actually with, I've forgotten this man's name, but I think he's going to explain it into much detail. Let's hear him out a bit and we continue some other time.
Trusted Islamic sources confirm that Muhammad married a little girl. To deflect attention from Muhammad's relationship with Aisha, Muslims say that Rebekkah was 3 years old when Isaac married her. We expose the bizarre reasoning they use to make this desperate claim. We have addressed a number of attempts by our Muslim friends to refute or to try to justify such behavior. Today, we're going to address yet another attempt to refute the fact that such behavior was unacceptable. For instance, our Muslim friends will point out to the age of Rebekkah in the Bible, and they would say, wasn't Rebekkah even younger than Aisha when she got married? Or at least there was a proposal to marry her?
Okay, so beloved, that is it. You see, I think Muslims try to employ what's termed as Tukokwi fallacy or Tukokwi argument. Or we get with me, the you also argument. I've been giving you examples over here. Somewhat like Abraham Moshe when he was probably caught with someone's wife, you see, and when he had to come to the public screen and to plead with Ghanaians that perhaps he being an influencer or a public figure and involving himself in such form of activity is very much uncalled for. Okay, when he emerged on the public screen of Ghana, surely, or of the world, he actually was trying to commit what is called the you also fallacy. He was like, it isn't only me who has done this. Even the president also did this. This person did that. The fact that somebody did same doesn't make yours right. I hope you get to me. The fact that the person did same doesn't make yours right, and even the argument Muslims are presenting isn't true. Okay, what is it? Rebekkah wasn't 3 years old when she got married to Isaac. Okay, because looking at how the biblical narration goes, Rebekkah was a woman. The Bible calls her woman. Okay, read Genesis 22 verse number 20 upward. Okay, the Bible calls her women. 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, the Bible calls her women. All we get to me. And when she had encounter with the messenger of Abraham, okay, the messenger had prayed to God that if indeed the Lord should perform some miracle for him, so to get a wife for his master's his master's son Isaac. How we get through me, and his prayer actually came through, or it came to pass. Okay, because Rebekkah bothered herself that much to fetch the water. Okay, and also to to water all the camels, about 20 of them. He watered them all. She did everything by herself. A 3-year-old girl could be able to do this. Even the servant of Abraham wouldn't have allowed her to do that. So this logic, this kind of argument Muslims are presenting isn't true. All we get to me, we call it a day. So the argument is shattered. It is never true. David Wood and Shamoun has actually helped a lot. Yes, the Bible never said Rebekkah was 3 years when she got married to Isaac, but rather it was information. It was a news. Okay, and the report was Rebekkah has been born. Several people has been born. So if you go in by this argument, then you would learn that all the people, the reporter, all the traveler mentioned were all at that moment born. But it isn't true. That is weak logic or weak argument. Okay, the fact that you're trying to find a way of escape doesn't mean you should create anything else. Any weak argument. I'll be getting this is this argument is flawed. It is never true. It is lambasted. Okay, shall we end it up here and we call it a day? Greetings to everybody. Bye bye.